Google has taken out a major contract to delist Infowars.com from its search engine. It is Monday, the 17th day of April, 2017. I'm your host, Alex Jones. Paul, Joseph Watson, and Mike Cernovich and others are coming up from the main studio here in just about 10 minutes or so. We obviously have the vice president making a rare visit to the DMZ in South Korea. We have major escalations there with the head of the National Security Council saying that North Korea is coming to a head. All of this is going to be broken down here today. I think it's a big victory that North Korea didn't test a nuke. Clearly, they backed down to Trump so far. That's unprecedented. We're going to be breaking that down today. Ladies and gentlemen, there is an attempt to strangle Infowars, and MSM even admits if they're successful with us, they'll be able to shut down Drudge. They'll be able to shut down everybody else. That's why I rarely ask Drudge to cover a story. He covers our stories without us asking, but I am asking Drudge to link to the story on Infowars.com. Dr. Corsi's also expanding on Mike Cernovich's breaking news. We can put Fox News on screen for you that Mike Cernovich is very respected because he's broken so many stories that end up to be absolutely on target. I happen to know some of his sources. They are in the White House. Cernovich is, quite frankly, better than I am at working the sources. But there it is, pro-Trump blogger Cernovich getting big scoops, mainstream media attention. That's Fox News. And the reason I raise that is that the media says we're fake, we're not real, because we are on target. Now, sometimes I engage in satire on air, and it's very clear when it's satire, and the media takes it out of context and says, do you really mean this? And I say, no, I'm illustrating what I'm doing using humor, using satire. And I always tell you when I'm doing it, when I'm doing that as, quote, an actor. But what I say and do on air as Alex Jones, what I stand for, our philosophies of the Second Amendment, sovereignty, that's who I am at my total core. And we've changed the world together. And I've never seen such a barrage. Thousands of articles the last week, hundreds today, with the most upside down, twisted garbage that I've ever seen. Now, Mike Cernovich breathlessly last night called me and said, can you meet? He was in town. He already been on the show Friday. I said, sure. Went down and met he and his wife, Buckley, and others went with me. And he said, look at this. And he showed me the source, showed me the information inside Google, showed me his text with a guy going back years. This is a really good source of his inside a major Google contracting company. Cernovich has some amazing contacts. We were talking to some of them last night. Some of them are billionaires in the tech world. I'll just leave it at that. And they're really concerned about what's happening. And so Google has taken out a major contract to delist Infowars.com from its search engine. And earlier in the last segment, I called what they're doing criminal. When a big multinational company organizes people secretly and pays them to go bury someone artificially and then claims that their search algorithm is real when they actually are hiring people to manipulate it, that is fraud against the public. The Washington Post 3 months ago had to retract their fake news list that had myself and others in it because people started filing suit on them. You just can't say we're all fake news and delist us. So in their crafty little letter that's on Infowars.com that went out to all Google contractors in their search engine system, it says, now, we can't say he's fake because he can sue us, but you just take matters into your own hands, but you will say medium or poor. You will say low or medium. So it's all written by lawyers, but it's so good to have it internally to see how they're doing it. And here's where it gets incredible, because they can shut us up, they can shut you up. Here's where it gets amazing. They list the fact that I list Ron Paul as a source, and they say Ron Paul is not credible, and that is the grounds for us. When Ron Paul said 2 weeks ago, the day after the chemical attack, that the rebels got caught before, he gave the source of the UN report. It was all over mainstream news.
Who would benefit? It makes no sense, even if you were totally separate from this and take no sides of this, and you were just an analyst. It doesn't make any sense for Assad under these conditions to all of a sudden use poison gases. It's zero. I think it's zero chance that he would have done this, deliberately, and he's doing this now.
In 2013, then again in 2016, they got caught launching a chemical attack. This is all over mainstream news. Ron Paul's crime is he has a memory. Then Putin came out and said it.
We have information from various sources that a similar provocation, and I can't call it anything other than a provocation, is being prepared in other parts of Syria, including the southern suburbs of Damascus, where they're again preparing to release some similar chemical substances and accuse the Syrian authorities of using them.
Then Assad said it. Sy Hersh has said it. Pulitzer Prize winner. They say that because we wrote an article and used Ron Paul as a source, that it was uncredible. Then they say, but you're asking, why does CNN have the same headline, false flag? And they said, well, they're credible and respected and people like them. It actually says this because people like CNN, which is a total lie. They have a 6% approval rating. They're known to be one of the most untrusted groups. They got caught in WikiLeaks with Google, with the White House, with Hillary, fixing search results. Remember all that? Remember all that? So they're the fraud. They're the fake garbage. They're the ones that gave us the fake polls and gave Hillary the questions beforehand and got caught doing all of it. And so they actually say, because we use Ron Paul, and they say, you know, for us to say he's low or medium, that's a little kind. You probably want to go more negative. So clearly, I've got big lawyers in D.C. that already want to do something previously, and I'm just too busy getting the news out. But I mean, we all have to stand up legally. The White House has to stand up. They're strangling the search results for what President Trump says and does. The Democrats are on the news telling Google to strangle results and do this. This is communist Chinese-style control. Let me, if you're a radio listener, read to you what it says from their bounty that's gone out. And I'll put up on screen the Infowars.com article that they say doesn't show any credible sources. It has a link to Sky News. It has a link to a bunch of other mainstream video clips of world leaders saying, Vladimir Putin saying, others saying it's a false flag.
Let's suppose we have this arsenal, and let's suppose that we have the will to use it. Why didn't we use it when we were retreating and the terrorists were advancing? Actually, the timing of that attack or alleged attack was when the Syrian army was advancing very fast and actually the terrorists were collapsing. So why to use it if you have it and if you have the will? Why to use it at that timing, not when you are in a difficult situation? Logically. This is first. Second, if you want to use it, if you have it and if you want to use it, again, this is if we suppose, why to use it against civilians, not to use it against the terrorists that we are fighting? Third, in that area, we don't have army, we don't have battles, we don't have any let's say object in Khan Sheikhon, and it's not strategic area. Why to attack it? Well, what the reason? Militarily, I'm talking about military from a military point of view. Of course, the foundation for us morally, we wouldn't do it if we have it. We wouldn't have the will because morally this is not acceptable. We won't have the support of the public. So every indication is against the whole story. So we can say that this play that they staged doesn't hold together. The story is not convincing by any means.
And then we are not supposed to be able to even show you that, ladies and gentlemen. So here it is. It says bonus example. It goes on to say, what about this news article, which covers the same subject? We'd give it a rating of high to high plus. While CNN isn't a perfect news outlet, it's a popular news source that covers the story with in-depth and mostly straightforward reporting. There are clips of an interview with Assad and quotes from experts that help promote and provide context that would be helpful to any user. To compare to Infowars article, it is brief, only mentions statements from sources not really typical. Putin, former Congressman Ron Paul, and Assad himself, which seem to be making the case here that bolsters the site's previously held perspectives, which cut against the grain. And it just goes on to say, shut us down. And they go on to say that, we're being kind, only saying that they are medium to poor. Negative reputation is sufficient to give a page a low rating. They go on to say CNN has a good reputation. Where's your facts on that? I've got a Pew poll. I've got a Gallup poll from last year, Associated Press. Just 6% of people say they trust media, and that means mainstream media. You can read the study. So they have a 6%, but you're saying they have this incredibly high trusted rating. You scroll down, that's Associated Press right there, posted to Breitbart. So Google takes out major contract to delist Infowars from its search index. Now remember, Google announced last month, they said, we are going to test in certain countries having a rating system that when you go through our browser, it tells you whether it's trusted or whether it's not trusted or whether it's, bad. And then we're going to use Snopes and other Democratic Party groups to decide what's real and what isn't. Now, this is all secretive, but we have the documents up on Infowars.com from inside Google. And you should go read them for yourself where they describe how to do this. And now how they're just going to drive you down in the search results where you can't even be seen. And understand, they've done this before. WikiLeaks, Assange, Google directly allied with Clinton campaign, driving down their search results so you couldn't read WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks is now listed as fake news by Google. You couldn't get more real than sourced real documents. No one's ever denied these WikiLeaks documents are real. But remember what Cuomo said on CNN. You're not allowed to read WikiLeaks. Only CNN is, so you don't read them or you can get in trouble. And that's what they're saying. You're not allowed to visit Infowars.com. You're not allowed to visit PrisonPlanet.com, which Google delisted years ago. You're not allowed to actually go see our information. You're not actually allowed to decide for yourself. But what's crazy is they say all these world leaders coming out and agreeing with Alex Jones about a false flag gives them credibility. So they're only posting things that give them credibility. What are you talking about? The rebels have been caught launching staged chemical attacks. That is mainstream news. And now, without any investigation, they're coming out and saying that Assad did this again. We're here with common sense standing against this. Let's go to Devin in Florida. Devin in Florida, you're on the air.
Great. Hey, thank you so much. Listen, I have bought your product, and I gotta say they're amazing. Anyone who's on the fence, buy it, because I've got Caveman, Superman Vitality, Secret 12, Vitamin Mineral Fusion. I've got the body armor.
Wow, thank you. Wow. You're the type of listener that makes it all possible. Which nutraceutical does you like best?
I really like the Vitamin Mineral Fusion, to be honest. That's amazing. Really incredible. I drank it in the morning, and I swear to you, I felt incredible. Like I haven't felt weak. My morning was fantastic, and I love you guys. I love the Infowars crew, and I just want to, I want to take this opportunity to tell anybody out there who's on the fence, just buy it. You will love it. I'm telling you, I've never bought a bad product.
What you find in our news is the same thing you find in our products at InfoWarsLife.com. It's a win-win. InfoWarsLife.com.